Hey everyone, thanks for joining. Of course, here with Jeremy. Pretty exciting video. Gonna do a 2021 kind of recap, year in review, talk about some things that happened. And of course, that leads to what's coming in 2022, which we'll do as a separate video. So I want to early say that anyone with questions, drop them below. We'll make sure we do a kind of the roadmap and things to come in 2022. But first things first, Jeremy, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jason. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Struggling through some Christmas shopping, but we're making headway now. Finish line in sight, so that's good.
Yeah, 'tis the
But
season.
let's fire through it. I guess do you want to kind of start somewhere, pick early in the year, some of the big things that happened with Perimeter, and we'll go from there.
Definitely, yeah, very timely. I think internally we've been doing the same thing, thinking about looking back on what we've accomplished, and whether or not we hit our goals that we set out for the organization. And frankly, we've been building a ton of momentum in December here, and are really fired up for 2022. So looking forward to the what's ahead video. But I think, yeah, if we go back to the beginning of the year. And really, maybe I'd describe 2021 as a foundational year for us, transition year in a lot of ways as well. So thinking back to where we were early, probably the biggest early milestone was the exercise of the outstanding warrants we had, which really strengthened the balance sheet for us. Back then, we had an additional $8+ million in cash come in Q1 from that, which allowed us to be a little more aggressive on a couple of activities around commercialization and around the clinical studies. So we're quite pleased that the markets recognized where we were going, and we were able to get those exercised and the cash in the bank. And then really, operationally, Q1 biggest milestone was our commercial 510(k) clearance. So that's what effectively put us on the map to start marketing the device we actually wanted to take to market. So just a refresher for everybody is we received our initial 510(k) clearance a few years ago. That was really designed to expedite clinical studies and make sure we could kind of take our feasibility work or proof of concept work and move it into viability and really gain user feedback in a much more expedited fashion so that we could then get the upgrade that we received earlier this year and take that to market. So big milestone. And I can tell you the customers who know the difference between the last 510(k) and this 510(k), it's like night and day with what we actually brought to market. So that was really exciting. Closely on the heels of that, we received breakthrough device designation on our AI-enabled device. So, good things for us seems to come in threes typically. So, Q1 was busy around all those fronts, but the breakthrough device was a huge validation for us. We were wrestling with some things. Obviously, AI in some ways is uncharted territories with the regulatory bodies. So, getting that designation was a huge win for us. It unlocked, additional interactions, expedited reviews, all of that stuff with the FDA. So really pleased that they recognize this technology as, novel, innovative, addressing, an unmet need that not only is a low quality outcome in terms of, healthcare economics today, but is also potentially saving lives or improving what is, one of the most important aspects of women's health, being breast cancer. So a lot happening in Q1 there. Not too long after that, we finished part one of our Atlas AI project. So just as another refresher, our artificial intelligence development project we've called the Atlas AI project. Part one was improving and finishing development on the algorithm, which involved collecting additional images from sites like Baylor College of Medicine, MD Anderson down in Houston as well, University of Texas Health San Antonio, and using all of that additional data to feed the algorithm, further train and validate and test the algorithm. And couldn't be happier with the results we achieved. In the AI world, we look at the area under the operator receiver curve or receiver operator curve, one of those, AUC, and we achieved a 0.94 AUC, which vastly exceeded our internal benchmarks. And really, to distill that to what it can do means our algorithm can effectively sort the images for suspicious and non-suspicious regions of cancer with a 94% accuracy. So, couldn't be happier with that. That exceeds our benchmarks, exceeds kind of industry standard benchmarks of equivalent technologies or similar use cases. So we think we've got something really strong to bring into the study and bring to market. So, that's kind of the big H1 highlights. Any further questions on any of that?
Incredible hearing you say you're excited for the 2022. There's tons of momentum, and it just took you 5 minutes to get through just Q1 and part of Q2. So incredible. It's super exciting. Insane. I know we talk in previous videos that 94% number, just to re-echo, and correct me if I'm wrong, but compared to the industry standard in some hospitals at around 75% to 80%, that's incredible, kind of increase to the standard. So looking forward to some more updates around there, and I'm sure that's some of the momentum that we'll hear about in the next video. But tell me about the second half.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Q3, I think for us, similar to a lot of medical device companies that you were hearing in Q3 earnings and whatnot, was challenging from the Delta resurgence and slowed us down on a number of things. So while we were able to be more aggressive in some ways on the commercial front, we did run into just interesting things in the sales cycle these days. Challenges with supply chains being focused on day-to-day critical items, getting non-hospital personnel into the facilities to perform demos, things like that. But we powered through a lot of that, and were able to really continue to generate what I would say is a very substantial buzz around the technology. And the remote demo work and the remote evaluation work we were able to do, and the conferences we were able to attend, I think, further solidified that the excitement is there. And, there hasn't been a single surgeon and user that's left any of those conversations and said, no, that's not for me, or I don't see this improving my outcomes. So really, really pleased with the groundwork that's been done on that front. We built out the bench quite a bit in Q3 from a talent perspective. The organization's quite a bit greater. We were growing in two core areas, two value creating areas for us, one being the commercial front. So thrilled about the sales reps we've been able to add. The market development managers is the title we have. Folks that are coming with large scale, top tier medical device pedigrees, successful careers in organizations like Medtronic, like Becton Dickinson. So thrilled that they've been able to bring their network into our team and their expertise. And this is it's a complicated sale, so it's important for us to have that level of talent on that team. So happy with that. Then the other side where we've really been investing is on the clinical field support front. So under the leadership of Dr. Sarah Butler, who joined us in Q3. Joined us from IBM Watson Health, significant work in clinical affairs, medical affairs, regulatory affairs, all of that stuff. So really joined us to head up our clinical and medical affairs efforts and ensure that we execute appropriately on the Atlas AI project, first of all, but also the body of clinical evidence we continue to build around this device supports our go-to-market strategies and our product development efforts as well. So great addition to the team. And, out in the field, we've been building out a clinical field support team, which, they have a dual purpose effort. These are folks that we call image training specialists, and really they're, medical education, customer education. They're ensuring that these evaluations go well, that customers can pick up this technology quickly, be effective quickly with the technology and really help us through, onboarding and ensuring success either in a commercial installation or with our clinical investigators. And, that has been a very difficult skill set to attract and engage. And, it's an intense learning curve because we're a new imaging technology. So, we couldn't be happier that we now have a solid team there, and, they're out there, training the trainers, if you will, for these early users and in the clinical studies and these early commercialization efforts. So, great progress there. And then, I think, as we exited Q3 and kind of into Q4, the marketing activity really ramped up. So for those of you who have been following the story for a bit longer, you'll notice we've rebranded ourselves, and our look and feel and brand presence has significantly upgraded now that we're going to market, and we've got a lot more to talk about with a lot more activity happening. So thrilled with what the marketing team's been doing. And, I would argue we were the belle of the ball at the, handful of conferences that took place kind of late Q3, early Q4. We were at the Mayo Clinic presenting on innovative breast cancer technologies, and there was a ton of engagement. A lot of questions from the clinicians about our technology and what it's doing. We were at TME, Targeted Medical Education in Las Vegas, another kind of who's who of breast surgeon conference. Again, a ton of innovation, or a ton of engagement there from the surgeons. A lot of buzz. We had Dr. Elmi from San Antonio presenting our technology, and lots of engagement, lots of questions, and there's been a ton of follow-up since then with that technology. So big things happening on the marketing front as well. And then, as we're getting into closing out the year here, we announced our investigational device exemption just recently, which effectively was the last regulatory roadblock to getting our AI study kicked off. That is behind us, and we're knocking on the door with a couple of sites on having patients roll through there. Those surgeons are really excited. There's it's a competitive bunch on getting the most patients through and being the first to enroll patients. So really excited to see them get it in their hands and really operate on the first patient in the world to have artificial intelligence with this imaging tool for intraoperative margin visualization. So really excited about that. And I can tell you, all of the investigators that have been through their training and through the reader study efforts, they've performed at a level that exceeded our expectations, or exceeded our benchmark at the very least. And we're thrilled to get them going and learning and using it on real patients. So that was a big milestone for us. And then, I think as is true to form in our world, the end of the year is a very busy time from a sales perspective, and you've got budgets with dollars available, and people thinking about operating budgets for next year, and end users and OR directors getting their needs on capital lists and whatnot. So we've been out there very active, and a ton of activity happening with the market development managers too. So expect to have a very strong close to December, and like I said, build a lot of momentum into 2022.
No wonder we're excited to do a momentum, kind of growing in video leading into 2022. Wow. Incredible. And, I want to re-echo, the talent that Perimeter has been able to attract has been incredible. Even kind of dating back to you, right? Truly impressive. And a lot of the people you guys have onboarded, obviously, congratulations, and awesome going through teaching people as well, but attracting the right talent. And love hearing that, there's end of year, budget allocations for 2022, and you guys are actively outreaching and talking to these hospitals and other surgeons. So fantastic. But wow, that was a great recap. Of anything you think you missed that you wanted to throw in kind of year as a whole? Or I think you covered a good amount of it.
I would agree. I think so. Unfortunately, we were just celebrating as a team around all those big wins, and I'd say just maybe as a cap, I do think it was like I said, it was a transition year. We did a lot of growth in our U.S. and commercial efforts, particularly, and we've got an engaged team. We're super excited to see the efforts come bear fruit here, where the AI is being used, the S series is being used commercially, and more getting it in the hands of more and more surgeons and getting that feedback and making it better. And really, I'd say the only other piece that I didn't really touch on is efforts are ramping up on what's next. We're in a good position from the development on the AI, the development on S series, so that frees up some capacity and some resources to think about other tissue types or other parts of the workflow. So I think, again, you'll very soon be hearing about additional things we're working on, other directions we're looking at going. So.
Love it. That 2022 video is going to be extremely exciting. But Jeremy, thanks so much for joining. Obviously, hope you have some great holidays and everyone watching as well. And again, reminding anyone with questions you want to see in that kind of 2022 video, drop it below. I'm sure Jeremy's got a lot of things to share, but we'll make sure we try and get anything relevant into that video as well. But Jeremy, thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks again, Jason. Happy holidays, everybody.